This is a brief video just to show you how to read, interpret, understand the U.S. primary energy chart and some other related things. So let's have a look. You can click on that link when you come out of this screen there, and you'll come to the graphics here. And there is a little narrative above it as well that you could have a look at just to give you a take what I meant to read. So here we are. This is the system where we have petroleum or oil, sometimes it's called. We have natural gas, and we have coal. Those are the three fossil fuels. And you can see that their significance in the energy system is dominated by petroleum, but natural gas is a second, and then coal a distant third in those fossil fuels. Petroleum, of course, is what we refine into gasoline and diesel, and it's also used in a variety of industrial applications, including making plastics, as is natural gas. The main way that most of you know natural gas is either because when you turn your lights on, there's probably a little bit of it generating from natural gas, and heating a lot of buildings happens with natural gas. It's also, again, used in a lot of industrial applications. Coal is mostly used, maybe 90%, for um, electricity generation. There's nuclear, all electricity generation. Then there's renewables, which are used for all kinds of things, but mostly electricity. And on this list here, the geothermal, solar, wind, those are all for electricity. The hydroelectric, of course, as well. And there are also wood, some of it's for heat, and biofuels, some of them are used in transportation. So that gives you a kind of a perspective on um, the first chart. We're going to skip down now to, this is the main thing I wanted to talk with you about today. This is the U.S. primary consumption by source and sector for 2019. Every year there's an update from the U.S. Department of Energy, Energy Information Administration. I'm going to click once just to get this a little closer. We're going to look at it here. So what is this? So if you look to the left, you have just kind of like we looked at a minute ago, petroleum, natural gas, renewable energy, coal, nuclear. Okay, so those are the sources. And then you can see just kind of looking across, okay, so petroleum, what share of petroleum is for transportation? As you look across, you can see 91%. By the way, the previous year in 2018, it was 92%. The only reason I know that is because I just had to change my numbers here because we went to a new 2019 graphic. So that's interesting that's fallen a little bit. And one of the reasons is that we're using a little more electric. That's kind of cool. Well, petroleum has those industrial uses we meant as well. So, we mentioned earlier as well. So 24% of petroleum goes to industrial uses. In fact, all the energy used in industrial applications, 34% comes from petroleum. So you might notice the difference in these numbers, right? So 24% of petroleum goes here, but in the case of the industrial, 34% of it comes from petroleum. So those are different numbers, even though they're on the same line, because you're talking about a share of the particular item there in each case. So natural gas, what's it used for? A little bit for transportation, municipal buses, about 3% is used for transportation. Interestingly, those three coincide, but normally that doesn't happen. Renewable energy, mostly, by the way, ethanol is used in transportation, 5%, and a little bit the electricity goes to the transportation sector, but I don't think they actually draw it this way. I think they're putting it down here under the electrical use sector down below there. And then it goes back into transportation, I believe. That's how they're probably tracing that. So a few other things. Coal, if you look at it, it's 11% of all the primary energy, and it is 90% making electricity. Hopefully this gives you some feeling for how all this works. Residential, by the way, just real quickly, that's your life and mine. And 44% of energy used in residences comes from natural gas, even though it's only 16% of natural gas uses. That's one of the hardest to change, by the way. Once you have a house where you have a gas stove and a furnace that runs on gas and a water heater that runs on gas, it'll probably always be that way, especially with the furnace, because someday when you replace it, if you also have an air conditioner, probably your air conditioner and your furnace won't go out on the same day, so you'll just replace the furnace with another gas one, rather than some other kind. If we want to move away from fossil fuels, we need to think about a lot of things up front, because there's a kind of inertia or momentum. You have a certain infrastructure, and that's the way it stays. Okay. Well, there's also a set of questions on this, so some of the I've already kind of answered going along with you up above here, kind of following. But then you want to answer these, and a quick hint: the answers are down below. So one advantage of using the video, right? This gives you a better perspective on how that U.S. energy system works.